Big news. A 17-year-old high school kid just beat the Olympic champion by 1/100th of a second. Think about that. He dove at the line in Oslo and thought he lost. He did not lose. He won. And get this, before the race even started, the Olympic champion said something about this kid. Something that should have scared every 800-meter runner on Earth. We will get to that. But first, you need the full story. Because beating an Olympic champion at 17 is just the start. This story begins in a small Texas town. Two older brothers who pushed them hard every single day, and a dad who coached at the local high school. Justin, Texas, a small town outside Dallas. Not a place known for world champions. Just normal kids, normal schools, normal Friday nights. But Cooper Lutkenhouse grew up in a house where everything was a fight to win. 5 sports in middle school, wrestling too. He studied Dallas Cowboys film like it was homework. This kid was built to compete way before anyone outside Texas knew his name. His dad George ran in college and now runs the whole school district sports program. His mom Trisha is literally the principal at his high school. Let that sink in. The kid who just beat an Olympic champion goes to a school his own mom runs. In that house, you proved yourself or you got left behind. There's a story about church league basketball. Cooper's young. His brother's 4 years older. Most parents split the kids onto different teams. Not Trisha. She throws Cooper out there with the older boys, and he keeps up. Sometimes he beats them. That right there is his whole career in one story. He starts running track in middle school, wins every race, doesn't think much of it. His own words. He just wanted to compete, have fun, and win. He figured everyone felt that way. He had no idea. Most people don't want it like he does. 8th grade, Cooper runs 1:53 and 1:54 in the 800 meters. Let that land. Most grown adults who run for fun would call 1:53 the best race of their life. This kid did it at 14 years old, in middle school. He wins the Brooks PR Invitational. He wins Nike Outdoor Nationals. People start to notice. But here's the cold truth. Being a fast middle schooler in Texas means nothing to the man running the Diamond League. Nothing. The gap between junior meets and real professional track is massive. It is not even the same sport. He goes into high school and just keeps winning. Texas Class 5A state title as a freshman, Class 6A state title the next year, undefeated, getting faster every single season. But the big track world still isn't fully watching, and here's the real problem. The runners he needs to beat to prove himself aren't racing in Texas. They're racing in Oslo, in Stockholm, in Eugene, wearing Olympic medals with years of experience he doesn't have yet. Winning state titles is great, but it proves nothing about beating the best in the world. Something big had to happen to force that question. Coach Chris Camibo steps in. He's the man who builds Lutkenhouse from a top high schooler into a real professional in 2025. Still going to class, still doing homework, but now training for world championships. And here's the one detail that explains everything about his big moments. The kick. Since middle school, Lutkenhouse has had one trigger point, 200 meters to go. In his own words, that's the spot he always pushes from. It's not luck, it's drilled into him. Race after race, practice after practice, until it becomes pure instinct. And on August 3rd, 2025, in Eugene, Oregon, that instinct changes his whole life. U.S. Outdoor Track and Field Championships. Cooper Lutkenhouse is 16 years old. He's in the 800-meter final against full-grown professionals, former world champions, Olympians, men who've done this their whole adult lives. With 200 meters left, he's in 7th place, dead last where it matters. Then the kick turns on. 7th to 2nd in 200 meters. He runs 1:42.27, a U18 world record by over a full second. He beats Josh Hoey, Bryce Hopel, Brandon Miller, men with Olympic medals and world finals appearances. He finishes 2nd, only behind Donovan Brazier. The stadium explodes. Coach Steve Magnus watches and posts that it's the most impressive thing he's ever seen in sports, that it makes high school LeBron look ordinary. The youngest American ever to qualify for Worlds is a 16-year-old who's going to miss English class to fly to Tokyo. The whole sport stands up and pays attention. But Tokyo does not go to plan, and that part gets left out of the highlight reels. Tokyo, September 2025, World Athletics Championships. Lutkenhouse flies to Japan with his actual homework packed in his bag. He's 16, the youngest American ever at this level. Just being there should feel like the reward. He runs the heats, and the 800-meter world stage is brutal, tactical, physical, nothing like a Texas high school meet. The best in the world know how to box you in, how to use experience to control the race, how to stop a dangerous kicker before he ever gets his shot. Lutkenhouse does not advance. He goes home. It's not a disaster. He's 16 and he made it there, but it sends a clear message. Talent and a big kick are not enough by themselves. The world stage wants more. It wants experience. It wants the kind of smarts you only get from racing the best, losing, learning, and coming back stronger. The real question is simple. Can a kid who's never really lost anything actually learn from this? Drop your answer in the comments right now. At 16, would you skip your junior year for the World Championships or stay home with your friends? Cooper picked the race every single time. I want to know what you would have picked. March 2026, Torun, Poland. While his classmates are home for spring break, hitting the beach, sleeping in, gaming with friends, Lutkenhouse is in Poland, racing the 800-meter at the World Indoor Championships against the best on the planet. He wins, 144.24. Youngest individual world champion in track and field history. Not just American history, not just the 800, all of track and field ever since the sport began. A 17-year-old from Justin, Texas, whose mom is still telling him to go to prom. World champion. Then 3 days before Oslo, his Diamond League debut in Stockholm, he wins again, 142.70, the youngest winner in Diamond League history, a record that stood for 16 years straight, gone in one race. Then Emmanuel Wanyoni decides to show up. Let's talk about Wanyoni, because you need to know who this man is before you understand Oslo. Emmanuel Wanyoni is 21, Kenyan, Olympic champion from Paris 2024, world champion from Tokyo 2025, the most dominant 800-meter runner alive today. He skipped Stockholm just to be fresh and ready for Oslo. He knew exactly who was coming for him, and before the race, Wanyoni said this out loud, in public. He said Cooper is great, looks really strong, and is definitely the future of this event, but they're still there to hold the fort. The current champion calling a 17-year-old the future. That is not trash talk, that is respect, forced out by fear. And then he went out to prove he was still king. June 10th, 2026, Oslo Bislett Games, the most legendary middle distance track on Earth. 70 world records have happened here. The race goes out fast. Wanyoni leads through the bell, just like always, controlling the pace with raw experience. Lutkenhouse stays close, waits. 200 meters to go. The trigger fires. He takes the lead, opens a gap into the final straight. But Wanyoni isn't done. He fights back, hard, closing the gap step by step all the way to the line. They hit the tape together. Photo finish. Lutkenhouse dives across, certain he lost. He lands on the track thinking the Olympic champion just edged him out. Then the time goes up. 142.08 for Lutkenhouse, 142.09 for Wanyoni. 1/100th of a second, faster than a blink, the smallest margin possible in this sport. A kid from Justin, Texas, who's supposed to be at prom, who missed spring break for Poland, who packed homework for Tokyo, just beat the Olympic and world champion by a fingernail. 6 pro races, 6 wins, world indoor champion, youngest Diamond League winner ever, world leader for 2026, third fastest American in history at 142.08. Now think about Wanyoni for 1 second. 2 years at the top of the 800 meter, defending his title at every major meet, carrying the weight of being the best on earth. He trained specifically for this race in Oslo. He gave everything in that final straight. And a 17-year-old who still has to go to prom beat him anyway. You already know what's going through his head. He said it himself before the race. The future is here. The real question now is whether he can hold the fort long enough to survive until LA 2028. After Oslo, someone asked Cooper about his plans. He doesn't mention Wanyoni, he doesn't mention the world record, he doesn't talk about LA 2028 or the next Diamond League stop. He says he still hasn't been to homecoming. He says he'll probably have to go to prom because his mom told him to, so he needs to start planning. And then he says the line that should scare every 800-meter runner alive. When asked what he thinks is possible, he simply says, I do not know what is possible." That is not fake modesty. That is not a rehearsed answer for the cameras. That is a 17-year-old who has beaten everyone in front of him, telling you honestly that he hasn't even found his limit yet. The world record in the 800 meter is 140.91, set by David Rudisha at the London Olympics in 2012. 14 years untouched. The greatest runners of the last decade looked at that number and just accepted it. Cooper just ran 142.08 at 17 years old, and he says he doesn't know what's possible. Do the math. LA 2028 is 2 years away, a home Olympics, American soil. The 800-meter final in Los Angeles in front of the biggest crowd this sport has ever seen. Cooper will be 19, still in his first full pro season when the games arrive. If the jump from 16 to 17 tells us anything, nobody actually knows what 19 looks like. He said so himself. So tell me in the comments. Los Angeles 2028. Cooper is 19. Olympic 800-meter final. On home soil, the whole country watching. Does he take the gold? Does he break Rudisha's 140.91, a record standing since 2012? Does he become the greatest 800-meter runner of all time? Drop it below. Every comment gets read.